In the fridge, nigga. You put it in the fridge.
I didn't put it in the fridge.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't know where I left it.
Because I opened the fridge, it was there. You have another cookie too. There should be two in there. Just save me one inside the fridge.
I'm gonna warm it up, see how good it is.
Oh my god. These fucking fuckheads, dog.
What?
So I can't customize my own person because I gotta beat the PS5 version of the game, but the PS4 version is already downloaded and I beat it. But oh my god, I actually gotta play the fucking story again.
There's no way to transfer the data?
The data is transferred, but it still doesn't matter. To customize your person and shit like that, you gotta be on the. You have to beat the PS5 version. Ooh, see, these are lost levels right here. 3 levels. What are you putting on?
It's a robot. Who is Callie?
Who?
Callie?
Who the fuck's that? I don't know.
People everywhere came to support us.
You're about to play an unfinished level from The Last of Us Part 2. The reason we added this section is there are a few sequences, and we picked the 3 of the best ones, that we cut from the game. You know, often we build a game that's much bigger than what ends up being the final product. They were months away from being finished, but we wanted to give you an insight of what it's like when we built the game, because often we have this whole thing constructed and it doesn't have final art or audio or dialogue. And here you get to see the building blocks of what it's like when we first string a bunch of these levels together. This is the intro to the first deleted level, and this one is the roughest of the three. We wanted to show more of how Jackson operates. So this is the festival where Ellie ultimately kisses Dina. This sequence would have come very late in the game as a flashback sequence while you're in the farm with Dina. And we wanted to show what is the rest of Jackson doing, and wanted to put on the stick, make it interactive. So you could see when you're outside, there are all these almost like carnival games that you can play. You could mix drinks, you could play with these kids that are playing a sort of clicker Marco Polo, sit down and listen to conversations. And all the different interactions were first or second pass, very, very early passes. The building blocks are there, but nothing is final. And ultimately, while we were very excited by this sequence, it's pretty fun and lighthearted. It just slowed things too much as we're barreling towards the end of the story at this point. So again, reminder, rough, missing audio, missing animation, missing gameplay tweaks, missing dialogue, but pretty representative of what it would have been. So enjoy.
Well, I thought I'd ask.
Originally, this level was going to transition us to farm. We would go all the way through to the dance, where Ellie and Dina share their first kiss. Then we would play through farm, and when Ellie plays the guitar at night, she would remember the Seth incident. So, the opening for this was a little tricky. We needed it to match at least a little what you might expect emotionally coming from prior beats, because we were already purposefully disorienting you in time and space. Remember, you just came from this huge fight. To jump straight into it would have been a little too jarring. After some back and forth, we rooted it in Ellie's nerves, calling back to her hands shaking in the theater. But this time, for a much more innocuous reason we'll find out later. She's nervous because she has a crush on Dina, who is the only reason why she's here at the dance.
Oliver Stone movie? Sorry, to be honest, it's embarrassing. Do yourself a favor.
Something we really wanted to do was highlight the way their lives had turned upside down since she went down this path. We had this idea of recontextualizing all of our usual gameplay mechanics that were designed for really violent ends. The workbench, door bashes, throwable weapons, and even the infected, which is my personal favorite. Peppered throughout the level are moments of levity or shared history, all the while seeing how happy and mundane they all were before her huge revenge odyssey. It is not a festival without one of these throwing games. This one, of course, uses our throwable system where you're often chucking explosive things or stunning things, but for a more wholesome purpose, although some people take this game really seriously. A fun aspect of this is if you did well, you could win a toy here. Ellie would place it in her pocket. If you had done this, you'd find the toy with JJ, the baby, later back at the farm. When we cut this, the toy made it through anyway because it was so cute. It is the same one you see on the tractor at the farm. Ollie the elephant. It is not a festival without one of these throwing games. This one, of course, uses our throwable system where you're often chucking explosive. The makeup artist is pretty simple. It's one of those little in-game scenes we peppered in to make it feel like Ellie had roots in the town. Hallie, our writer, mentioned that in her mind, an ex-girlfriend of Ellie's tattooed her arm to cover up her scar. So we figured this might be the only time you get to see that. We wanted to hint at it and allude to it and make it feel like there had been so much more that had been happening and so much more that Ellie threw away.
Promise. Hey man. What? You think I forgot about you? Trust me, I need you now more than ever.
This is one of my favorite sections because I think that it achieves both the slice of life aspect of Jackson while also being a stark reminder of how dark the world that they live in really, really is. To attract attention and curiosity, one of the kids was supposed to make this adorable, messed up little clicker impression, and the others would giggle. We tried a version where if you got close enough, the kid might try and follow you a little before turning back. Since clickers are blind and move by echolocation, for this game of messed up tag, Ellie must close her eyes and listen for when the children give themselves away. The thought was that these kids are in relative safety. They still grow up with the dangers of clickers and runners, and all those lessons would embed themselves in the games that they play. When the festival got cut, they tried to preserve this moment and move it to the front of the game where the snowball fight is, as a tutorial. However, being in the headspace of a clicker doesn't really teach you how to deal with them. Eventually, it evolved, and they instead made the snowball fight, which was, I think, more effective. For me, it's character illuminating that not only does Ellie know this game, she plays along. There's a familiarity with the kids that's really nice to see, especially because it's such a difference from the Ellie we see later, who has a sort of hollow normalcy that she's trying to get with JJ, but kind of fails. There's a hidden spot at the back that was just a bit of fun. It was highlighting Jackson's normalcy with something we would find in a real world. In the back, you would find teenagers finding some alone time with each other in a dark corner of a party. It was rewarding the player for peeking into a hidden corner, but ultimately redirecting them back to the festival. We also had versions of them smoking weed here, despite Maria's consternation, probably having gotten it from Eugene.
My rule, but come on. It's an off week. Yo, my man, you gotta deuce it out over here, alright?
Damn, it's cold as shit in here, right?
In this second deleted level, which is an extended sequence of the sewers in Seattle. This comes on the heels of where Ellie goes into a building and she survives an attack by stalkers and gets thrown out of a window and gets swept away by the current. And then we cut this section that used to be there in the final game. Now you will get to play it. So this was a way to get a bit more interesting puzzles, interesting traversal, figure out how Ellie can navigate the sewers with the fighting current. Ultimately, with a lot of these levels and these sequences, the reason why we cut them were for pacing purposes. But here it is for you in this very kind of raw form that part of it will feel finished, parts of it will feel like assets are missing as far as audio, animation won't be final, but it's a glimpse into what a game looks like when it's months away from finishing. Enjoy.
Oh shit.
Get off of me!
Seattle. Okay. Where the hell am I?
ladder acts as an immediate goal for the player, but being able to climb out is not going to be so easy. To keep levels interesting and engaging, we alternate between positive and negative values the player experiences. Here, it's a positive to have found a ladder, but then a negative to discover it's not the solution. But then another positive to identify the next short-term goal of the doorway. By alternating between these opposing values, we give players what they expect, but not how they expect it. This level, internally known as Fine Nora, was quite long in duration as we had to make Ellie traverse far distance to the opposite side of downtown Seattle. The sewer section was originally longer than what we released the game with, approximately 10 minutes more. This was one of the few areas of the game that used water flow as part of a traversal puzzle. The player has to go upstream to use the current to get to the platform to reach the other side. We mostly cut this mechanic game-wide, however it remained in essence in the section swimming to the aquarium as Ellie when you were avoiding the waves. When players reach the doorway and enter into the room, they're faced with a dead end. The real reason for this dead-end room is that on the reversal, when exiting back out of the doorway, players are faced with a route onwards. A pipe that they'd not been able to see when they were swept past it on the way in, or something that was hidden from view when on the side platform. The intention here being that the only option is to go off the standard path in order to search for a way out.
Get me the hell out of here.
Throughout the rest of the level, we also used light to indicate to the player that they were heading in the right direction. At each turn, however, we blocked the direct route forward. Players would know that they just have to keep finding alternative paths, promoting those feelings of being desperate and trapped. We slowly introduced the player to consider climbing into smaller pipes and crouching in these tight spaces.
Up and out.
This is to slowly build up to
keep going
and
up and out.
encourage the player to climb into such small pipes that they'd have to be crawling on their stomach, which is something that the player previously may not have recognised as a playable space, let alone the desired route they need to take. We added a tiny space just to reward the player's exploration with a picker biter, and we made sure it was something that made sense that you'd find in this area. The canister and all the garbage that had been washed into the sewers from the surface. We loved the idea of making Ellie prone through a tiny dirty pipe in order to get out, as it was a great opportunity to use our prone mechanic.
Where's your shit,
The
Ellie?
unique camera setup was created to support crawling in these pipes, as the standard prone camera is much higher above the player.
Am I here, nigga? I've been
We
playing
also
the
created
Lost
custom
levels.
collision in order for Ellie to
I'm
maneuver
kind of
in these
upsetty
tight
biscuity
spaces
because
easily. Initially,
all
we
the
put
achievements I
collision
have
capture
on
around the
PlayStation
character
4, they're
causing
only for
issues
PlayStation
falling around
4.
corners.
So like
We
for the
put extra
PlayStation
effort
5,
into
the
the custom
achievements are
corner
reset.
collision, so the movement experience is as smooth as the main game.
I mean, you can switch on the thing. You can play an import game, which is the PlayStation 4 one, or PS5 one. You just gotta reset everything, which means I gotta reset my guns and all that shit and level them
We
up.
introduced the use of the squeeze through so that we can keep the player feeling enclosed.
Did
in
you start
tight,
playing the
but without
part 5, the
repeating
main
same
story?
geometry. Here we change from low ceilings with wider walls to high ceilings.
Why
and
didn't
tight
you start
walls
the
to
lo-
change up the
oh,
spatial
you should
pacing
start the
and
Lost
keep the
levels
level
first.
from repeating itself.
That's what I'm doing. I'm doing the Lost levels first, and then I'm gonna go do that shit. True. I wanna play it. Yeah, I'm about to. I just wanna beat this last level.
Shit, where's the guy?
Wait, did you buy the game or did you just download it from mine?
Originally, we had the water line much higher here, so players had to swim through this tight tunnel. However, from watching user test feedback, it was
you talking about in
occasionally causing
multiplayer?
people to discount the route entirely and turn back on themselves. So to avoid any risk of this happening in the
Oh,
final
game
game,
mode.
we present a lower water level so the tunnel is easy to see and commit to using. Although this isn't as impactful without the prone swim, it's the better decision as it means a smooth experience for the player with no
Suits
backtracking
up.
frustration.
Oh, cutthroat. It's a 9v. It's a 3v3v3. Domination. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. You have to win 3 rounds, right? Yeah.
As we surface from the water and over the crest of the slope, we reveal what is further in this tunnel. A clicker that has sprouted and fungus has grown on the sides of the pipe. It was great to see people who user tested this area becoming increasingly worried as we forced the player to squeeze past the fungus and inches away from the clicker's face, all the time not being sure
They said
whether
it
the
wasn't a
clicker
really
might be live
significant
or attack. Although we aren't as cruel as the
upgrade,
force a clicker
because
attack
part
in
2
such
already
close
had really good
proximity,
graphics.
we do have a payoff for this moment. This clicker momentarily turned into Joel to show Ellie's PTSD from what happened to Joel at the start of the game. Ultimately, we decided to save this moment for the farm level, as it was more impactful there.
Oh,
because it
shit!
was the centerpiece of that
Oh
experience.
my god, that scared the fuck
Whereas
out of
in
me.
the sewers, we weren't able to make it
What's-
as much of a narrative point
Yeah.
to give it the breathing room and reaction time that it deserves, given the tight space.
No, it comes out Sunday. What's it called? In the sewer, you looked at a clicker, right? And then all of a sudden, you just see Joel's face. Like, she's having, like, flashbacks. Yeah. I mean, I'm sad too, but, dude, it's been like 4 years. I'm pretty over that shit now, you know? I just enjoy the game for what it was. I don't mind being dead, you said? No. Vaughn's a real person. Joel's not. I would never be like.
Using this pipe was retained in the iteration we shipped with, as it's the last of the extreme methods Ellie has to undergo in order to escape the sewers, and what she will go through in her pursuit of revenge.
Yeah, that was sad too, but motherfucker was. Yeah, he probably did
The
to
last ladder
fucking
climb is
destroy
quite
it.
lengthy, and although we could have trimmed it down to a shorter climb, we liked how this last segment of the journey built anticipation for whether there was success at the top or not after all you've been through. Ultimately, the ladder exits out into the subway station, which is how it connects in the final game. Ellie then has to find her way to the hospital from here, crossing paths with the scars for the first time.
She still put on her OnlyFans like a clip. She put a clip of her getting smashed by Juice WRLD on her OnlyFans. Unless she deleted it. Yeah, she was posting full video for $30. Not anymore? Oh. Okay. I say a sex tape wouldn't really destroy nobody's legacy, but it is very disrespectful since the nigga. I'm on the
For
last
this
lost level.
third and final deleted level, what we call the boar hunt sequence.
There's 3.
This was a sequence
first one's
pretty
10
late
minutes.
in the game. It was right after the whole Seattle Abby sequence where Abby spares Ellie, and then we wanted to come back into
Like 21
Ellie's
minutes?
story but keep it a bit mysterious of how much time has passed. Where is Ellie now? So we're coming in on Ellie, and she's following a trail of blood, and we
You said
wanted
what?
to mirror in a way the deer hunt sequence from the first game, but this time do it with a boar.
Uh,
And there's something
I
with
don't know.
Ellie that now
I have this.
she
We can wait
can't
till
let go
Sunday
of
to
this
check my
promise.
schedule.
She's pursuing it, even against this innocent animal. This was another opportunity to show how
Saturday.
the
Well, wait till
violence of
Saturday
this
at the end.
experience,
When
the
when
violence
I
that
get my
she
schedule.
witnessed being afflicted onto Joel,
Damn,
is
bro.
still
You remember
sticking with her. And she's still experiencing these PTSD moments. This was a
on
sequence that
Sunday?
was pretty far along and was cut pretty
If we
late
do
from
go, cause the
production.
games are all like
Parts of it
at
are still very
2:30.
rough, but the gameplay, the building blocks
Yeah,
were
we could
all
try to do
there.
that. Yeah.
I think you'll have fun to see, like, again, a rough, unfinished sequence that you can play. You can see all the way to the end, and including a cinematic that we end up cutting. And the remnants of the sequence ended up being mentioned in Ellie's journal.
Yeah.
So this part of the story that we developed still made its way into the game as kind of optional stuff that you could read about, but here you get to experience it. So as a reminder, this is pretty rough, months away from being finished, but you get to see it now.
Okay. All right.
Where are you?
So the boar hunt was one of the hardest levels for me to work on. It was a huge challenge with the systems that we had, and we kept trying, but it never
We
felt
can go
quite
to the
right.
thing first.
Originally, the level happened after the Jackson Festival, which also got cut, but before Farm. Once the festival got cut, it became the prologue to Farm. The intended experience is that we jump forward in time after the fight with Abby in the theater. We don't know where Dina is. We likely assume she's dead because she was just bleeding out. Ellie is alone. Her hair is short. So maybe this is the future or the present. And she's hunting. Hunting who? Abby still? In early iterations of the fight, it was more arena-like. The player slowly whittles down the boar's health. Ellie gets more visceral and more vicious. We get a little worried about her. As the boar gets weaker, more panicked, more feral, and we start feeling sympathetic to the boar was the hope.
These
In
Lost
all of these
Worlds,
iterations, especially of these
some of
wider
them are kind of
areas,
like you
it
can walk
required
into other
custom
rooms and shit.
AI and
But
scripting
since it's
to
an
make
alpha,
sure
there's
it
not a lot of
continued
things to
feel
do.
organic as an animal.
But
But we
these
really
Lost levels are
needed it to
kind
be
of
a
like
success
them,
success.
because these are
We
not
needed
fully
to be able
done
to
levels. You know
close
what I mean?
distances really, really
So
quickly.
they're like you have to
We
run to the question mark.
charged to attack,
They tell
but
you
we
about
wanted
the
to feel
level,
like
what
hunting,
you're
so
supposed
we
to
needed
do,
track it down quickly.
what time frame this
And
level
you also
fits
needed to
in
discourage
with the main
player
story.
from attacking the boar when it's that close, or it would kind of turn into this melee kerfuffle. How do
To
we
be
do
honest with
this
you, I went
while
through it
raw,
within like
while
30
keeping the boar
minutes,
believable?
so it's alright. Kind of wish that they can, yeah. I kind of wish they would make it like real missions where like, I mean, then again, they did tell you it's alpha.
Definitely not.
No, there's no multiplayer. It's the hunted. So basically, you go through a whole it's like a different story in the game, right? It's like 150 occasions, like you can um it's basically whatever you do in let's say I'm Ellie, right? And I choose to go kill this one nigga. Anything you do is gonna affect the way your story is gonna end. You know what I mean? It's a different story. Um, but like there's like 10 missions, right? But each time you die in between one of those 10 missions, you restart the whole thing. But the thing is, it starts over with a different story, and you start off with a different character. But it's like rounds of you getting
We
hunted
must have gone
down
through
by
5
every
or 6
zombies. Like you
iterations
gotta look
of
it
the
up,
boar
but that
fight
shit's
and all,
scary
and
as
every
hell.
single time it changed pretty drastically. We split it into clear
Yeah, you
phases.
beat.
Where
There's
one
10
was an
missions. You have to beat
all-long
all of them without
range.
dying.
We tried another where you're getting close and you get
But
to
that's
jump
like
out
one
and
version of the
immediately you're
game you
jumping off
beat.
of a
You know what I
rock
mean? There's like
to
150
attack it.
outcomes.
And then finally, we tried a bunch where you almost sort of go around a bunch of trailers and try and wrestle it. We uncovered after some time that taking down a boar over several phases felt very laborious and a little dramatic. It was comically long. It felt too boss-like, a little too gamey. We decided to cut the first few phases, and we opted for a cold open after the boar had already been hurt off screen. So that allowed us to focus on feeling like we're closing in on prey and to introduce the boar when it was at its most dangerous. Already hurt, already feral, much too close for comfort. And so the thinking was it would bring us more into Ellie's mindset. Is this really hunting for food, or is she hunting for some other reason?
If he showed his only supplier, I take him down. I lose my drugs. And with everything going on right now, I can't have that. Get that dope. Anyway, bro.
The gas station was built to highlight the boar's destructiveness. Since it's cramped, the boar feels larger. We also feel trapped.
Oh,
so
shit.
perhaps it's not with us. When it charges, it gets to us quickly, so we must be on our toes. This
Pig
made it
just-
more aligned with Ellie's sort of hunting for trouble mindset. Listening became more important, as well as moving around slowly so it didn't hear you. Could you spot it before it saw or heard you? And could you get a shot off quickly enough so you could dodge out of the way? Or is the shot worth the cost after? It feels like a gamble. Everything would likely be in shambles.
Oh shit, this boy is beating my ass.
Finally invent revenge.
Dude, no wonder why this boar mission they took it out. They said it was one of the hardest missions they put on, and they took it away because it was too hard. Nah, but I shot this motherfucker in the eye twice, and this bull is still not dead. Like, what the fuck? That's trash. I play on hard. I'm not playing. At first, I played on moderate, and then I switched to hard because when I replayed the games, I just wanted to have more of a challenge. I know.
The boar kill was supposed to be anything but glorious. With the boar whimpering at the back of the gas station after
No,
Ellie
that's on
gave
hard. You
up
get
this
2
hunt.
bullets. On
After this,
easy, you should get like at least
hearing the
5.
drone that we kind of come to associate with Ellie's trauma, we would hard cut to the stream where she's washing her hands and holding rabbits that she hunted.
So basically, I'm not even kidding, bro. Like, you will go through a whole mission and you kill a bunch of zombies. The max you will find is 5 bullets. For hard, at least. When you go on moderate and you kill a zombie, they drop 5 bullets all the time. But basically on hard mode, every bullet counts. You miss one, you're fucked because it's more crafty. You know what I mean? You have to be very careful. You gotta be smart what you use your shit for. Because you won't find any bullets later on. Sometimes I had to for hard, there's a couple times where I switched over to moderate so I can get some bullets, and then I switch over to hard. You know what I mean? So I can get some bullets, nigga. Oh, this bitch is having a Joel pack attack right now. She's like, oh my god, the bull reminds me of... Oh yeah, bro. Everything reminds this bitch of Joel, bro. I swear to God. Well, she doesn't hate him. She just mad at him for not telling her the truth. For like 3 years. I finished all the lost levels. Let's go. Yeah, I'm about to... Let me just fully...